Many years ago, when I first started as a very young prosthetist, I had a patient who had a horrible wound and a deranged ankle. I had to build her a complex brace to hold her ankle together so that she could walk. And she did walk a little bit. She got around kind of okay. She was a lady in her 40s at that time. We did this for about 15 years, making braces and shoes and making adaptations for her to function. Finally, the infection got the best of her and turned into gangrene. And she suddenly had to have an immediate overnight amputation. And unfortunately, the amputation had to be done all the way above her knee. But she healed up nicely, and she became one of our amputees. And we healed her and shaped her and fitted her eventually in a prosthesis, and she was able to regain her lifestyle. In fact, she was able to do better as an amputee than she did as a brace patient all of those years. And she grabbed me by the coat lapel one day and said, "Mike, why didn't you tell me 15 years ago how much better my life would have been? How much less pain, how much less suffering I would have had if I'd had my leg amputated all those years ago and gotten my life back." And after gathering myself a little bit, I promised her that I would tell that story to every person I saw after that fit into the category of having a wound or a dysfunctional joint or a deformed leg that had changed their lifestyle to the point that they could not function, or that their pain was to the point that they had to stay on pain meds all the time. This became kind of a life goal for me, was to make sure that doctors and patients that I came in touch with knew that amputation should not be considered the last possibility in healing. In fact, very often it needs to be considered as a primary source of healing. I've seen over and over again patients who were severely disabled trying to maintain a limb that was dysfunctional, losing their life, losing their capabilities, losing their job, losing their joy. And I just had to interject and at least tell them this story. And as luck would have it, 5 years ago, after 35 years of taking care of amputees, I had a horrible accident and ended up with a right leg that was dysfunctional. And I tried for a year and a half to save it, and I had surgeries, and I made braces, and I carried wound patches, and I did all of those things. And eventually I had to have that same conversation with myself. And of course, as a prosthetist, I knew what an amputation could do for me. The injury had already made me disabled, and I knew how to become re-abled. And I made that very difficult decision to have an amputation. But thanks to God, and thanks to modern prosthetics, and thanks to great prosthetists, I got my life back. I'm 99% of where I was. I'm doing all of the things I used to do, and it was absolutely the correct decision for me. So my story to doctors and therapists and patients is to assess whether your disability would be improved with an amputation and modern prosthetics, and then come and talk to us about what those possibilities could be.